7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Kevin.
Mr. Dickerson.
Here.
Ms. Gerber.
Here.
Mr. Paula.
Here.
Mr. Campbell.
Here.
Ms. Elliott.
Here.
I believe Mr. Thacker is ill this evening.
Yes.
So we have 5-1, enough for a quorum.
All right, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the February 6, 2012 meeting. The first business we have tonight, I received a letter from a resident who has congenital heart defect, and she asked me if I would proclaim this week, which is Congenital Heart Defect Week, for the village residents and anyone else that's stricken with this disease. So if I could have Cora Campbell please come up front.
Hi there. How are you?
Good.
Look at the camera on 5.
How are you? All right. I'm going to do a proclamation. Are you ready? Whereas the health and well-being of children is of paramount importance, and whereas each year in the United States approximately 40,000 babies are born with congenital heart defect, and whereas the medical community has identified congenital heart defects as the leading cause of defect-related deaths, and whereas medical research can provide more indefinable means of the origins and symptoms of congenital heart defects, and whereas it is critical that parents, pediatricians, and all those in the health profession have a greater awareness of the potential for congenital heart defects among newborns and children, and whereas Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week provides the opportunity for families whose lives have been affected to celebrate life and to remember loved ones lost, to honor dedicated health professionals, and to meet others and share their stories and experiences in order to raise public awareness about congenital heart defect. Now, therefore, I, Todd Hart, Mayor of Amelia Village of Ohio, do hereby proclaim February 7th through 14th, 2012 Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week, and encourage all Amelia residents to join me in this special observance. Congratulations. Would you like to come up and say something?
Corey, do you want to say something?
And I'd like to tell everyone that this is very dear and near to my heart because my granddaughter, who's in the back, has congenital heart defect. And I'd just like to thank everyone for coming. So if we could take about a 10-minute break, recess and have some cake.
Sure.
Make a motion to take a break.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty, we'll call the meeting back to order at 7:20. All right, we'll move on down. We've got 2 sets of minutes to approve. The first one is the January 3rd, 2012. There's a typo in those minutes, so we've had the typo corrected. We just need a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
So moved.
I have a first, do I have a second?
I'll second.
First and a second. Kevin, roll call, please.
Mr. Dickerson. Here. Mr. Gerber.
How about Miss
Gerber. Sorry. Should I start over?
No. Yay.
Mr. Paula.
Yay.
No, Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
5-0 passes.
All right, the second set of minutes, January 17th. Everybody had a chance to look over those. Anybody need any more time? Not hear anything, then all those in favor of approving January 17, 2012 minutes. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes passed. Going down to the mayor's report. February 6, 2012. My first month as mayor has been a very busy month. We have several things that we've been in the works and are now close to becoming a reality. Number one, we have a road widening project from Lori Lane to Tall Trees. This project will help all businesses and residents of Amelia, along with the Tall Tree subdivision. This should help alleviate or cut down on traffic issues, including accidents and traffic congestion. This project will also help with furthering the infrastructure for the future of Amelia Village. Number two, we need to hire a zoning inspector part-time for a much-needed zoning workload and for enforcement of zoning regulations and day-to-day operations. Number three, Amelia's Oddfellows Cemetery is now open for business. We need to get the plots and grounds x-rayed to ensure that we do not disturb those resting in peace. We also need to get the front half x-rayed, which that will include part of the Lori Lane and Tall Trees widening. Number four, we have a major retail development which is coming soon. This development will benefit the residents of Amelia Village along with other members of our local and surrounding communities. So, in closing, it is time for this administration, council, staff, employees, and residents to work together to make the future of Amelia bright. We can get busy living or we can get busy dying. I know how I feel, and with this dynamic council, which we now have, I feel comfortable in saying that we should get busy living. Thank you, Mayor Tom. Committee appointments. Actually, let me go back to this. There's some things I want to address real quick on this mayor's report, if I can. You've got in your packet from Thomas Graham Associates, Inc. We need to move forward in getting the drawings for Lori Lane and Tall Trees finalized and all the descriptions of the properties. So actually what I'm looking for is a motion from council to move forward with the proposal from Thomas Graham Associates.
I make that motion.
Second. First and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
5-0 passes.
I'm going to drop down to number 3, and it pertains to the mayor's report also. I'd like to move forward with the x-raying the front portion of the Oddfellows Cemetery closest to 125 for the road widening project. You all got in your packets they've got a price from Bloodhound Inc. to do that. Everybody got that?
This is the only estimate we have.
They're the only people that we know of that do it right now. They do it all through Cincinnati. So we got the price, I think it's like $3,900 for the first part. And eventually to do the back half would be $8,560 for a total of $12,550. But right now I think it's just imperative we do that front part. This is all contingent upon the road widening. So I'm looking for council to make a motion.
Is this coming out of the cemetery fund?
Yes, this will be coming out of the cemetery fund.
So as a point of information, I'll need to move money out of the Star Ohio investment to cover that.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
Oh, I make a motion, yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
First and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paulin.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott. 5-0 passes.
The last thing I had to go over on my mayor's report, we had talked about putting a zoning inspector part-time in, and we had actually advertised for that at one time. I think in our advertisement, I thought we'd put $9, but then we had made a motion here on July 5th of 2011 not to exceed 24 hours per week at a rate of $10 per hour. I would actually like to see if I can get council to make a motion to raise that pay range from $10 to $15, depending on experience, on a part-time zoning inspector.
Yeah, did we receive applicants last time?
We did receive applicants last time. I had not gotten to do any interviews on that. That was
Do we
prior.
still have record of?
Yes,
those were-
we still have applicant records.
And that was at the $10
Yes.
advertised rate?
Mhm.
Doesn't mean necessarily that's what it's gonna be, but
Right.
did we want to interview those people first, or?
It's whatever council would like to do.
Well, since we're gonna have a meeting, the planning and zoning is gonna have a meeting tomorrow night, could we conceivably take that tomorrow night for the committee to hash it and throw it back, or is that burning wire, we're not burning time we shouldn't be burning?
It's however council feels.
Or I think it's something, we can probably bring in, set up another, if you wanted to do an interview committee, or if you just wanted to bring them in for you to talk to them, the people we already have first,
Okay.
instead of re-advertising if we already have applicants in hand.
We can do that. Do you want to do that to $10, or do you want to give a little bit of fluctuation?
Well, that was just kind of a starting, it depends on their
Yeah. I thought that
experience.
that's what we
That was kind of
budgeted.
Yeah.
That's what we knew we had money-wise, was at $10 an hour. Because I think 15 is way too high.
For qualified zoning inspector?
I just,
It's whatever council wants to do, so.
I think we should interview the people we already have
Okay.
apply, and they may say, I won't do it for $10 an hour.
yeah. I didn't have to worry about that.
Well, that's what we'll move
Deal with it
forward.
from there,
We'll
you know.
move forward with that. I'll go ahead and have Julie pull the applicants back out, call them, and see who'd be interested in coming in for an interview, and we'll go with that.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Yep.
Good to me. All right, now I'll jump on down to the committee appointments. I'm going to go ahead and start two more committees. I'm going to do a safety committee, and Susan, would you like to chair that?
Sure.
Okay. And I'd like to put Chris Dickerson on also. And you guys can get with Julie this week to set a time up that you guys can get together to start running those meetings. The other meeting I'd like to get going is a finance meeting. And Mr. Thacker's not here right now. I'd like to put him as committee chairman. And Derek, I'd like to know if you'd also like to be on that committee.
Yeah.
And that's the only ones we're going to get going now. I think we got our plate full with just those right now. And as time progresses, we'll bring more committees in. All right, everybody have a copy of the bills. Give you a few minutes to look over those. Anybody got any comments on the bills? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the bills.
I'll make the motion to accept the bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
First and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yeah.
Mr. Pollock.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
5-0 passes.
Next, we have legislation. We've got the second reading, Amelia Village, Ohio, Resolution R 2012-01, a resolution declaring support from Amelia Village in Claremont County and for the Middle East Fork Watershed Balanced Growth Initiative, and that'll be the second reading. I plan on having at the next reading, I will have some representative here, so if anybody's got any questions before we vote on that. You'll be able to ask your questions. The second legislation I have is Amelia Village, Ohio Resolution R 2012-02, a resolution requesting the Clermont County Auditor to advance taxes and assessments from the proceeds of tax levies pursuant to Section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency. At this time, I need a motion to waive the 3 readings on 3 separate dates.
So moved.
Got a first, do I have a second?
Second.
First and second. Any more discussion? Kevin, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Dickerson?
Yay.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollak?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
At this time, I'm going to read Amelia Village, Ohio Resolution R 2012-02, a resolution requesting the Clermont County Auditor to advance taxes and assessments from the proceeds of tax levies pursuant to Section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code. At this time, I'd look for an motion for adoption.
I make the motion we adopt it.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson? Yay. Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollak?
Yay.
Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
We've got something a little different on this one. We're going to have a third motion on this one, so bear with me. Let me read it. It's Amelia Village, Ohio Resolution R 2012-02, a resolution requesting the Clermont County Auditor to advance taxes and assessments from the proceeds of tax levies pursuant to Section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code. And I need a motion moved for the approval of the emergency clause.
So moved.
I have a first, I have a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson?
Yay.
Ms. Gerber?
Yay.
Mr. Pollak?
Yay.
Ms. Campbell? Or Mr. Campbell?
Yay.
Ms. Elliott?
Yay.
5-0. Passes.
The next is public input. If anybody would like to speak at this time, they could come up to the podium, state your name and your address, and council is here to whatever you might have to say.
Well, I guess I have something to say. I'm Johnny Parsons, Parsons Insurance. And as I've talked with you, Todd, the fact is we don't have hardly even enough parking as it is now. I don't know if the rest of you are aware of this. We have barely enough land to operate our business on now. The road widening project, if it went through, it would devastate our business. To the point that I have an insurance agency and a car lot license also. And to have all that, I have to have a certain square footage. We're right at the minimum now. Like I told Todd, I felt that there were other ways around taking our land, like possibly taking the land at Tall Trees, coming down at Nuri's, and tapering out, maybe taking some of the land on the other side of the road, because the pawn shop is very interested in having it come over there, because they said if they took the land over there, that Select Strategies would give them an access road to Lori Lane if it goes across on the south side of the street. So they're very willing to give up land, and we're not. Also, there is in the works right now, as you know, a possibility where maybe our land would be expanded to behind us. The Donnerbergs have a triangle of land behind us, and if we could acquire that, then the Donnerbergs could acquire some of the woods behind them that's part of a apartment complex on Lori Lane. That would help us kind of scoot back. But to just take our land would really destroy our business. It really would. It would be devastating. I mean, if you come by our place anytime, you've had a hard time even parking there. You're one of our customers. I mean, we barely even can operate with what we have now. So And also my lawyer is prepared to put up quite a battle if it comes to that. We don't want that to, we don't want to sue anybody and we don't want to get involved in all that. But I appreciate you trying to work with us as much as possible. But like I said, I just want everybody to be aware that it would devastate our business. It really would. And I don't think your legacy would want to be, let's just destroy an existing business to bring in a bigger one. That's not an honorable way to do business with existing businesses here in Amelia. We've been here for a long time. We want to stay here. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Well, thank you, John.
Okay.
Johnny, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Is that a solution you feel if you were, were able to acquire the land behind you?
It's a strong possibility. My lawyer is trying to work all this out. As a matter of fact, well, to show you, originally, and up until a couple weeks ago, Select Strategies had offered to buy some land. In fact, this is from their engineer. Select Strategies said, what if we went to Nuri's, bought some land next door, and made a trade with you? And I said, well, yeah, let me run it by my lawyer. He looked it over, said, sure, it doesn't sound too bad. He said, maybe even instead of this, how about half as wide but farther back so that we could kind of spread out wider and come back. I was willing to do that. So we agreed to it. They went over to the Nuri's, who I guess just sold to the Branhams or something. It's now owned by John and Donna Branham. Nuri's doesn't own it anymore. So they went over there, talked to them, and they said no, they did not want to get rid of any land at all. So then the two representatives, Mr. Neltner and Mr. Palucci, I think, from Select Strategies, came to some kind of meeting here. And they got word, well, don't worry about Parsons, we're just going to take the land on an eminent domain. So they told me that, and they said they weren't any longer worried about working a deal with me since they're going to get it on a freebie anyway. And I said, I don't think so. I mean, here you are in the middle of working a deal with me one day, and the next day, sorry, we're out of the game because we're going to just take it. That's not an honorable way to do business. And they, in fact, were also interested. Originally, they were going to, this is my land here, this is the Auto Express, Donnaberg's. They were, Select Strategies was working on acquiring this triangle for us so we could scoot back, acquiring some of the woods for Auto Express, and they were actually in the middle of getting that going since this fell through. But they dropped out of this because they got word they're just going to take it. So now they're just out of the game. And, when they tried this to those people in Norwood, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that case, but it backfired big time. I mean, those people got about $4 million. And like I told Todd, I'm not looking to sue, and I don't want to sue, but to handle this like this is a good way to set the village up for an ugly lawsuit. If Select Strategies wants to put in this project, that's a private enterprise. The road widening down by us isn't part of tall trees widening. I mean, if you want to widen for tall trees, I can see that, because going eastbound, be nice to have a left turn lane, that's no problem. But there's another solution too, which hasn't seemed to be looked at very much, but another solution, like I was just telling you before, where the widening would occur over here on this side of the street, on the north side, and then taper down towards us, and then over here take the rest that they need for this intersection. That's another possibility, just taper it off without even taking our land. The pawn shop's more than willing to, like I said, get rid of it, because they've been already promised an access road to the new Lori Lane going on the other side of the street. So here we have them willing to give it up. We're not. I mean, that needs to be looked at more. But like I said, if to just take our land would really just absolutely destroy our business. Well, like I said, we barely can even park now. In fact, today, somebody parked in our lot and walked all the way over to a funeral, and we had to call over there and have it moved because our customers didn't even have a place to park. So, I mean, you know, we cannot operate without a parking lot. So this is extremely important to us. And we've been here for 12, 13 years. And like I said, I don't think that y'all want to be known for just bulldozing over the top of existing businesses, put in a bigger business. I mean, that is not honorable. That's not the way to deal with people. And believe me, I'm not going to stand for it. I'm willing to work something out, but I'm not willing to just be run over by a steamroller for the machine. I mean, that's not going to happen.
But you do feel that some kind of land swap or something like that would...
Yeah. And like I said, had Select Strategies, when this deal fell through, had they not been told they're getting it on a freebie anyway, they would have probably already had this put together. The reason they dropped out of it was somebody from here said, don't worry, we're just going to take it from Parsons on an eminent domain. So they said, well, why should we work anything out with you? We're getting it anyway, free.
And you actually heard this from them?
In so many words, not it doesn't.
Because I don't know anybody here that would tell them that. That's my only concern. You keep bringing that up, Johnny, and
Okay.
I don't know anybody sitting here that would tell them that.
Brian Meltner, who's from Select Strategies, he came to our office with these drawings. He presented this to us. And when this deal fell through, like I said, he called me up and said, we're done. And I said, what do you mean you're done? What about this other deal? And he says, we really don't have to do anything now. The town's just going to take it. And that's why they dropped out of it.
I will check with him, but I know nobody from Amelia Village told him that at all. So.
Well, they dropped out of it for some reason. I mean, I'm not making this up. This is their own drawings they presented to me. You know that. And like I said, they were going to work this deal out. I'd already talked to him about it. And then when he was told, don't worry about it, we're getting it anyway, they dropped out of the game. Why should they buy any land and swap?
He never actually told you that. You're just, that's what you kind of read between the lines.
Well, he said, why should we? We're getting it anyway. I mean, why on earth would they do all this when they're going to get it anyway? And like I said, to widen this road down by Lori Lane, I do not believe in any way is a legitimate road widening project for just road widening. As you know, ODOT just finished a project last summer in front of our place. So all this was studied out, all this was done, all this was dealt with, and the concrete's barely dry, and now, all of a sudden we need to widen it again? That doesn't sound legitimate. This widening down by us is strictly for the benefit of a private enterprise. Widening down by tall trees, that's a whole different issue. They keep getting mixed together, but they're not together. And like I said, I'm all for you widening down by tall trees. I can see that. But that's like a quarter mile down the road. That has nothing to do with us. And like I said, they just got that project done. And we were inconvenienced severely with, construction mess. Our customers couldn't even get in our lot. People saying, we're going to get insurance up there. We couldn't even get in. There's bulldozers and gravel. And I mean, we went through pure hell and they just finished that. So not only would taking our parking lot crush our business, just the inconvenience of the construction is going to be yet another nightmare that we just got through. So I really hope y'all take all this into consideration.
Well, either way, you're going to have construction issues, even if you went to the other side of the street. So that's
I can see that.
something that's going to happen
But
no
like
matter what.
this sidewalk and everything in front of our place, as you know, is brand new. All of it just was done. So, you know, it's really important to us. I don't want to wind up on welfare and food stamps, so we're trying to just run a business and trying to stay alive. And I think there are other ways of handling this. I didn't know who all was aware of what, but I think all you need to be aware of everything. And let's look at all the options, and I am trying to work something out.
Are you in negotiations still, or?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, since, like I said, since Select Strategies dropped out of it, now my attorneys had to pick up where they left off, which also really isn't fair to us. Now we've got lawyer bills. You know, this whole thing to us has been an absolute nightmare from the beginning. In fact, last summer, Select Strategies was calling our office constantly wanting to buy some land. And they were only talking the width of a sidewalk. And I told them, we don't even have that much to spare. And they called over and over and over and over. So this thing has been a private project all the way up till a week ago. And now it's all of a sudden it's eminent domain. I mean, that looks real fishy.
And we've had the Lori Lane project as far as up at Tall Trees. We've had that money sitting in Tall Trees for almost 12 years now. To
But
widen
that's tall tree. That's way
So
fine.
that was
Widen
that was
You came all the way through town.
That was a project to take it all the way through, and eventually we hope to go not only from Tall Trees, then our next phase would be Chapel, and then Chapel on. So it's a phase that's going to continue through the village. So
Well, like I said, I just wanted y'all to know, you know, all the facts, and we'll see what happens
we
next.
appreciate it. Any other public input? Any council input? Quiet.
Is everybody aware that we lost a motorcycle shop?
I'm not sure if they are or not. That the one moved from down here.
The one that's just the other side of Celia Drive.
Yeah, they're moving down to the
They're going down to the
flea market.
flea market that's not doing too well. I don't know when they're going, but they're in the process of going, but I don't know what the date is yet. I mean, their official
I did
date.
hear that.
But I can see why they would go if it's available because of the difference in the buildings
Yeah,
and the difference in the parking area. That,
getting in and out of there where they're at.
yeah, right. That's a nice building, well built, but it doesn't lend itself for what the business they're in. It's more of a office type building as opposed to a ATV situation. Like when the semi pulls up to unload those
Block the
four-wheelers.
Yeah,
You
he
just shut the
doesn't- traffic
traffic down in town practically because there's no place else for him to go. You sure can't go down that drive to the back level, so I can see him taking advantage of that. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot. I got some things for tomorrow night, but that's for tomorrow night
Okay.
for our planning committee.
I got one more thing to see how council feels. These Mondays, we're having to move constantly to Tuesdays because of the holidays. I want to see how council would feel about starting next month, moving our meetings to the second and fourth Tuesday of the month and get off of the Mondays. Starting next month, we'll finish this month as we're rolling, and then next month we'll move to the second and the fourth Tuesdays of the month. That seem to work for everybody?
Tuesdays are okay for me.
It's okay for me.
Renee? Chris?
Yep.
Susan?
And you want the second and fourth?
Second and fourth. You'll be busy the first
And
and
you
third,
don't have to
right?
change them.
I am, it's Thursday.
Thursdays, that's right.
I may have a conflict, but not yet on the second Tuesday. But go ahead and do whatever you want to do.
Okay. Or I guess we could do the first and third Tuesday. Does that work for everybody?
That just gets you into your planning.
Yeah, it does. Let's do the second and fourth Tuesday. If that's all right, we get that in a motion to move, starting next month, moving our meetings to the second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Make the motion.
Motion on the floor. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paula.
Yay?
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
5-0 passes.
The only other business I have, we need to make a motion to move our Monday, February 20th meeting to Tuesday, February 21st at 2012.
Make a motion, we move what you just said.
Make a motion to move to Tuesday, February 21st, 2012.
There you go.
And I'll second whatever she said. Got that?
Roll call vote.
Mr. Dickerson.
Yay.
Ms. Gerber.
Yay.
Mr. Paula.
Yay.
Mr. Campbell.
Yay.
Ms. Elliott.
Yay.
Passes 5-0.
And don't forget to change your schedule.
I will.
This is just for you, Bob.
Uh-oh.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion we adjourn this meeting.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.